Before the holidays, Canadians all witnessed the Leader of the Opposition forcing his caucus to turn their back on Ukraine. They turned their backs on fundamental Canadian principles and bowed down to the pro-Russian narrative. I know the Leader won't change his mind, but Ukrainian Canadians across the prairies are hoping that at least some brave Conservative MPs will do the right thing and vote their conscience and their principles. Let everyone in this House who stands with Ukraine stand up and be counted.
He's losing it today.
I know it's Wednesday. I know it's caucus day. I know that people are primed up. But I'm going to ask members, please, let us restrain ourselves so that we can hear the questions and we can hear the answers. The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Mr. Speaker, what this Prime Minister has is a pro-Russia energy policy that forces the Europeans to buy their energy from Russia by denying Canadians the ability to sell our own. He prefers military equipment for Putin instead of paychecks for Canadians. He does want to export detonators and turbines to Putin so he can pump his gas and power his landmines. Why doesn't he stop using Ukraine as a political tool and actually do something to stand up and help win the war?
Everybody's fired up there.
The Right Honourable Prime Minister. The Right Honourable Prime Minister from the top, please.
Volodymyr Zelensky came to this House and asked all of us to support Ukraine in its fight for freedom and its economic independence. Vladimir Zelensky asked us to support a renegotiation and a renewal of the Canada-Ukraine free trade deal. In this House, everyone except Conservative MPs stood up to support Vladimir Zelensky.
The Prime Minister has 10 seconds left on the clock, but I'm going to ask all members, I'm going to ask in particular the member from Dufferin-Caledon, please, to allow the answer to be heard so that, because it's not only important for all of us and for Canadians to hear that, but it's important for members, especially members who require translation. They can't hear over the heckling. So let us make sure that we have an opportunity to hear clearly the questions and the answers. The Honourable Prime Minister, 10 seconds left on the clock.
Mr. Speaker, Ukrainian Canadians from across the prairies are begging their MPs to please stand up for Ukraine. Will they do that, Mr. Speaker, in the upcoming Ukraine free trade vote?
There's over 10 seconds.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Mr. Speaker, on this, like everything else, he is a fake and he is a phony.
Damn. Like everyone gets up and claps for him too. I love it. But that's unparliamentary for sure.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition is a well-experienced man in Parliament. I would caution him to avoid using language like that could cause disruption and could be interpreted differently. The Honourable Member from the top, the Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
His carbon tax deal does not distract from the fact that he announced $400 million in surface-to-air equipment that he has still not delivered. Right. What he did deliver is detonators to Putin so that Putin could put them in landmines and blow up Ukrainians. He delivered a turbine that was refurbished in Montreal so that Putin could put it in his pipelines and pump gas and make money off Europe that we should be bringing home to this country? Why is it that he always stands up for the dirty dictators like Putin instead of the paychecks for our people?
Once again, I would caution all members to be very careful about how they impugn motivations to other members, specifically to specific members. And this was the subject of a declaration which the chair had made back in October. And I encourage all members to please refer to it again to making sure that we keep on the right side of parliamentary language. The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, when the Leader of the Opposition refers to Ukraine as some faraway foreign land, when he continues to insist that all of his MPs, including Ukrainian Canadian MPs, vote against a free trade agreement that Volodymyr Zelensky is asking us to vote for to support Ukraine, he can't hide behind the kind of misinformation and disinformation that he regularly peddles in. It's very simple, Mr. Speaker. Will the members of the Conservative...
So I'm going to remind all members again. I know it's Wednesday, and I know that all members, but as I had to the same degree that I just made a statement to to a member in this House, I will make it again. Please be there. I would invite all members to please listen to their whips for a second, and I will... Please.
Can you have them sit down when you're up? Thank you.
It's important. I invite all members, please, to be very careful about impugning motivations or associating members with governments that we do find in this House to be disreputable, if not odious. So I'm just looking for all of us to make sure that we stay on the right, that we all wait and do our turn. And I will ask the honourable member from South Shore St. Margaret's to please come and speak to me at the chair, and we'll have an opportunity to discuss this. The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Mr. Speaker, he could not point to a single thing that I said that was untrue, because it is all factual. It is a fact that we already have an excellent trade agreement with Ukraine, that it does not include a carbon tax, and that there is no need for a carbon tax to be in any free trade agreement. In fact, there never has been a need for a carbon tax in any other free trade agreement in the history. But while he remembered a carbon tax, he forgot to include in the deal a ban on him sending detonators and turbines over to Putin. Why is it that he's so determined to allow Putin to acquire weapons and money rather than having a real free trade deal with Ukraine?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, the Leader of the official opposition has an opportunity to correct the record from him having called Ukraine a faraway foreign land by allowing his Ukrainian Canadian MPs, at the very least, to vote in favour of the renewal of the Canada-Ukraine Free Trade Agreement coming up for a vote in the coming days. It is an opportunity for those who choose to stand with Ukraine to stand with Ukraine in this House and be counted. Why is he muzzling his Ukrainian Canadian MPs?
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Mr. Speaker, we are 100% united in our support of Ukraine and in our opposition to the carbon tax. 100% united. This is what he does. He divides. He wants to distract from the fact that he doubled housing costs, caused 30 homeless encampments in Halifax, caused shootings to go up by 100%, drug overdoses up by 300%. It is no wonder that he would want to use fear and falsehoods to distract from his many failures, and that is exactly what he is doing. Why won't he finally unite this country instead of trying to divide and conquer?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, this House used to be united in its support of Ukraine and its support of Volodymyr Zelensky. And yet now we see.
I'm please ask the Prime Minister to start up again. I'm going to ask all members, please, to listen to the response without interruption so that we can have an orderly House. Prime Minister from the top.
Mr. Speaker, this House used to be united in its unequivocal support for Ukraine, and then the Leader of the Opposition disparagingly referred to Ukraine as a faraway foreign land, something for which he has not yet apologized, and has demanded that all his MPs, including Prairie MPs who have strong Ukrainian-Canadian populations, vote against a free trade deal that Volodymyr Zelensky has deliberately and directly asked Canadians to support. When will he stand up for Ukraine?
The honourable member for Drummond.